and I'm black, y'all, and I'm blacker than black, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm blacker than black, and I'm black, y'all. I'm blickety black, blacker than black, black. I'm blacker than black, yo, because I'm black and I'm back. Yo, I'm black and I'm black, y'all, and I'm blacker than black, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all. Yeah, it's St. Louis.
Welcome to the A-Train Show. And now here's your host, the A-Train, Arlington Lane.
Yeah, true chatter. Yeah, I think it's time for more true chatter. Born every day, 100 new fake rappers. We got too many powers.
Welcome to this edition of the A-Train Show, the A-Train, Arlington Lane. We back at it again, new season, new ride. Let's go, baby. You got to do inhale and exhale. But coming up on the show, talk a bit about Bill Belichick and his role in college football right now and why it shouldn't be a bad thing. Also, we'll get into a little NFL and, of course, got to get into some WWE. All right, so sit back, give me just a minute. I'm going to get everything together and going to come right back with more of the A-Train Show. Stick around. We'll be right back. Back at it again in this edition of the A Show, Arlington Lane. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. Thank you. All right. It is time to go through a new segment on our show. We're gonna basically go through different things, but I'm having a ride with me. Okay, it's called the A Train Ride. So let's get into it right now. I think my thing is messing up on me. That's okay. I ain't too much mad about it. So this is the first edition of the A Train Ride. I promise you we're gonna get better with it. I was working on something that was it was gonna be written, but I didn't get a chance to really develop it the way that I wanted to. I did one, and I did it through when we had Fuel Sports Network. I was working on some things with that, but I'm going to do it here in video form. So let's see how we do that. All right, Bill Belichick last night. Had his first coaching game. And, yeah, he took a bad loss, 48-14. Cool. We're good with that, right? He's not good with that because he took a loss. But if you look at the history of Bill Belichick, Belichick has lost every first game as a head coach. His coaching debuts, and thank you, Sports Center, with Scott Van Pelt putting that out there last night. And yeah, I did it to beat him to the punch, and I did. I'm credit. I don't have the followers like they do. Cool, whatever. But just like they did, I went and researched it. That his first game against Cleveland Browns, they lost to Dallas. In 2000, his very first game, greatest coach of all time, the New England Patriots, they lost to Tampa at home. And then last night, they lost 48-14 at home to TCU. After starting the game well, everybody was looking at them like, okay, they might be something. And it just went downhill from there. 48-14 loss to Bill Belichick. But I think people need to kind of pump the brakes on Bill. It's going to depend on how many seasons that he's going to be coaching at UNC. And he's, 72 years old now, so it may not be a lengthy period. I'll give it 3 years. So I'm taking you to Charlotte. Excuse me, not Charlotte. Chapel Hills, where I'm taking you. That's where we are on this train ride. And so I think folks really need to just relax a little bit. It's game one, week one. I know a lot of people ain't feeling Bill Belichick right now, but everybody was talking about his girlfriend Jordan and stuff like that, how she big bossing. But I really think at this point, just kind of hold on, man. It's going to be a long season. I wonder, though. Are folks going to give him the same energy that they gave Deion Sanders his first year? I wonder. That's the question I need to figure out. Are y'all going to give this Negro the same energy? Yeah, I call Belichick a Negro. Are you going to give him the same energy that y'all gave Deion Sanders? Because folks blistered Deion that he shouldn't be doing this. He don't belong here. And I understand that he's not a coach, or he wasn't a coach like Bill Belichick, or has the tenure that he has. Belichick didn't play the game, but he studied the game. And Deion played the game, but he's also studying the game now. So my thing is, why are we sitting here right now and not blistering Bill Belichick? Oh, because he's had a storied history, but he moved into the college game from the pro game. And the timeline is silent. Shh. Y'all silent, man. Come on, man. I don't hear not a thing about Bill. Oh, y'all too busy worried about what's going on in the world. Cool, whatever. That's fine. But in the sports world, You don't think Bill should be getting blistered for the fact that his team got busted up 48-14? I understand. This is a whole different college football landscape now. All right, we had a different place, different time frame, all of it. NIL deals, transfer portals, and you can sit here and say transfer portals are ruining the game. It's tough for coaches, is what I keep seeing. Case in point, how Alabama lost to Florida State. And already, even though I think it's too early to give that a inclination, is that Kalen DeBoer is going to be on the hot seat. And I'm like, it's too early. And I understand that people like Nick Saban in the past didn't really have to do it that much, and he got out when he needed to. And it looked like that's going to hold his legacy in a good way. And so I don't know. These young guys, they just want to find the best place for them to play. Because when coaches are looking at them in the beginning, in high school, and they get these scholarships, they get these high recruitments, they continuously talk and say, hey, come to our school, we want you to come for 4 years. They have to re-strategize how they want to keep these kids at these schools, but also for the players themselves, they have to showcase that they deserve to be there. Now, there have been inclinations where that has happened and they still don't get to see the field. Well, it's going to looked at crazy. There's going to be a time where, if not now, the coaches are looking at finding the best way to win. And that's the toughest thing right now. That's the toughest thing at this point. What's going on, Amanda? Thank you, Will. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. Oh, and I just want to go out and say before we begin, I want to thank Gateway Sports for partnering and broadcasting this show as a part of their network. So, it's cool to stay in St. Louis and make sure that the content is being kept well. So thank you, Gateway Sports, for that. But I think the question is going to become with Bill, is his girlfriend going to be a distraction? Because that first interview they did was 60 Minutes. So I'm going back to Bill. With 60 Minutes, it seemed like she was controlling that interview, didn't like some of the questions that's being brought forth. And there was a video clip of her in the box, or a picture that was going around floating, and she was very boss-like. So my question is, how far are they going to go with this? And what I mean by that is, how far are they going to go, not only with this relationship, and how long with this business ploy? Because, hey, shout out to Randy Moss. He was there. Michael Jordan was in the house. And they had a lot of fans until that third quarter, when it just got away from it, and then everybody just dispersed. Everybody. So it's going to be interesting to see what goes on in Chapel Hill. All right. Let's move forward. We're going to make 2 stops next. So we're going to make a stop. Next A-Train ride we're going to take is we're going to go to Dallas. All right, we're going to make a stop in Dallas, and then we're going to take that train. We're going to go all the way up to Green Bay. Question, and that's by far has been the biggest news of the NFL season to even begin, is Dallas to Green Bay. Overshadows what Aaron Rodgers was pulling throughout the year. But it's the question that becomes, does Jerry Jones and Nico Harrison all have something in common? Like, I want to know. And I talked to the good Reverend yesterday. Right now, he is on the road. He's handling some business. If he does pop in, then that's cool. But if he doesn't, I ain't mad at him. But I did say I was going to address this. And my thing is, what is the mindset now for Dallas? It sounds like Dallas is more, and I'm going to take from what he told me in this conversation, is that it sounds like Dallas is more going on the offensive side than on the defensive side of the ball. They just like, they want to put up more points. You just lost Lawrence. You just traded Michael Parsons, which is probably, if not the heart and soul of that defense. And you said, we're going to give him up, which in return, Green Bay said, we'll pay you to remain as a Green Bay Packer for the next 4 seasons. So they already were having that ready for him when he arrived. And he does have a legitimate injury, and Green Bay is willing to tackle that because of I guess Mike's situation with his, I lost my train of thought because I was looking at something and something caught my attention. You know, he's injured right now, and I'm looking at the trade. Forgive me, y'all. It's gonna happen from time to time as well while I'm doing the show. But Parsons right now he's injured, but I think, like I said, Green Bay is going to tackle that, and they want a more defensive front. On having a talent like this is just amazing. And I'm just wondering, is this similarly like what's going on with Dallas to Los Angeles for Luka Doncic and Nico Harrison? Like, is Nico Harrison and Jerry Jones both working on the same thing? Because on paper, it looked like it should be no comparison. Because if you look at, and I want to throw that out there, going back to Dallas with the Mavericks, and we talked about this. I said, man, why does this, it seems similar? He was like, no, there's nothing similar about it. The thing is that Dallas Mavericks on paper look better than what they did when they got rid of Luka. They do. They look like a playoff contending team. Just everybody has to remain healthy. And then you went and got the number 1 pick of all things. They got Cooper Flag. Had a small shot at getting him, like Chicago did in 2008. Small shot. And they nabbed it. Got Cooper Flag. It's almost like they were able to remove a problem and get a better problem. But that is yet to be seen, because we don't know what type of NBA player Cooper Flag is going to be. But you got a high caliber player that's willing to work hard each and every game. And granted, he didn't play a lot in preseason. And that's a whole nother topic we're going to have to discuss about why. I understand why teams don't like to play their top talent, this load management thing, and why it becomes a problem. But in the NFL, because they're trying to reduce as many preseason games as possible, and as they should. Because I rather them be scrimmages than it be, because that's all it is a glorified scrimmage. I get it. You want to see your top talent out on the field, and I understand you making the investment, but man, we need to see them play. And a lot of times they want to sit them down and be like, no, because we don't want to injure you. Injuries are part of the game, unfortunately. And then you wonder why these guys are not in top shape out there performing, because they're not out on the field. They're not out on the court. That's usually how they get ready for the season. If you give them 20, 25 minutes of game clock to play, just to see how well they work out. If the injury happens, it happens. It sucks. But those are all part of the game. But back to the situation in Dallas with Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons has been wanted out, and because he already felt that he wasn't going to remain as a Dallas Cowboy much longer because they weren't going to pay him. And they didn't. So I wonder what Jerry Jones is thinking. Is it an offensive style? Is he looking for a more offensive type scheme? You went and got Brian Schottenheimer. You kept Brian Schottenheimer, promoted him to head coach. You fired Mike McCarthy. Like, what is in for the Dallas Cowboys? I shouldn't be mentioning this, but it's like big. It stays big. Like, the Dallas Cowboys are going to remain in conversations with sports media for a long time. And they got this Thursday night game against the Eagles, the Super Bowl champion Eagles, mind you. And that's going to, I know game one can't dictate it, but what happens on that field come Thursday, they better get ready. Dallas fans, I almost want to say I feel for you. Many of y'all that I know are Dallas fans, and y'all have renounced your fandom. Like, you don't want nothing to do with them anymore because you've constantly been disappointed by Jerry Jones. And you really think his son Steven is going to make sure that thing keeps staying afloat, like they going to get into a championship or a Super Bowl, man? What are we doing here? What are we doing? All right, gonna step aside for a quick break, and then we're gonna come back. We're gonna get into some WWE. I definitely want to get into that, and because there's some questions I got. So we're going to Stanford on the next ride. So we're gonna pause a little bit for the calls and come right back with more the A-Train show. So you stick around. We'll be right back right after this. on this edition of the A-Train Show, the A-Train Arlington. Time for more of the A-Train ride. Let's continue on with the ride today. Love it. We're going to go back to a little bit more college football. And before I jump off into the E, I want to make a journey over to Columbus, Ohio, real quick. And I want to showcase my love to the one and only, for the final time, Mr. Lee Corso, who gave us this wonderful gem.
Fuck it.
So before I do that, I want to make sure I get this in real quick. Okay. I promise you guys, we're gonna get this show is gonna be better than it was before. So, it's just gonna be nothing but comedic laughs throughout the time that we were here. But yeah, Lee Corso. Last time on College Game Day with ESPN, and as much 90 years of age, and he did it for almost 40 years with College Game Day. So him being a staple on these programs and going through the many different analysts and things that were a part of that program. I'm glad he was able to retire while he was still alive, because a lot of people wind up passing, before it's over. But he got one final time to do it in Columbus for that Ohio State-Texas game. And it was a good send-off for him. The game itself, from Ohio State, Texas wasn't the best, but hey, it was the opening week. And I'm glad that we're getting an opportunity to see top matchups at the beginning of the year. I get it, you have non-conference games, but that is what college football is supposed to be about, the top matchups, the teams that who's going to be getting into the national championship this year. Texas taking a loss, and Arch Manning, and I think this was his first start of 2025, right? And this is going to be his first full year as quarterback for Texas. And he looked better in the second half, and it was like Ohio State just had him, well, you can say the fourth quarter, had him ruffled up those first three quarters, like just had him baffled. And I can't say it's going to be a long season for Texas. I think they'll bounce back from this loss, but we can kind of slow down on the Arch Manning getting into Heisman Trophy kind of stuff. If we were there, let's put that on ice for a second. Let's put it on ice because he didn't have a good performance. And me personally, I don't even think Ohio State should have been. If I look at if they went ahead and threw out the AP top 25, check it out real quick. I don't think they should, man. Okay, it won't be released till 1 o'clock. And honestly, when we get to that place, I really don't think Ohio State should jump to number one. Listen, I understand you beat the number one team in the country. A lot of people will make the argument that they did it convincingly, but doesn't usually scoring can make the convincing argument more compelling? Don't you think? A 14-7 win. Granted, it was great defense. It was a great defensive stance. I think they allowed the touchdown in the fourth quarter, right? but still the game was close. I would put them over Penn State if it was a 28-7 win, 31-7, 35-7. It would look more convincing and say, hey, they deserve to be the number one squad. That's why I'm sitting back and I'm like, I don't know, but they'll probably give it to them anyway. And Penn State beating down Nevada 46-11. That's why I would put Penn State as number one and put Ohio State as number two. If anywhere, Texas should fall. No, shouldn't even pass the top five, in my opinion. But that's just me. It was a great week for college football. And I just hate it for you, an Alabama fan or a Texas fan or even a Notre Dame fan. Shout out to you, Jeremy Housewright. I know you were sickened over that loss against Miami. But I think right now, as we're getting in with this season, this is going to be a crazy year. So buckle up. All right? Buckle up for this. Oh, my gosh. We in for a crazy year again. All right, let's move up. Move over. We're going to go east from Columbus over to Stamford, Connecticut. And I'm going to be honest with y'all. I almost don't even need to watch WWE television anymore. And the reason why I say that is because of the content. Thanks, Paul. You're putting a lot of the content out, and I'm pretty much getting the stories where I need, or I'm keeping up to date with what's going on in WWE. It didn't make it any better that Stephanie McMahon opened up her mouth and said, hey, y'all need to get those VPNs. Instead of watching it on Netflix and ESPN, which they just partnered with. And that's another crazy thing with me. Is this WWE to ESPN thing, man. They've been wanting to do that for a long time now. It goes back at least 10 years or so. Like partnering with them. Because remember, they were doing little hits when Coach was there at ESPN. What's my guy name that used to do? There's another guy. Because what happened is a lot of guys wind up going to ESPN, and they wind up doing Sports Center. They wind up doing radio shows. I can't think of the dude's name, man. He was a backstage interviewer for a long time for them. And anybody got the name, please. It's not Jonathan Coachman. It's not. I need former personnel. Don't need the current one. Oh, who was it? Dang, it was like it's sitting there and I can't think of his name. I don't want to butcher it. Was it Todd? I need a name. I can always go to Gemini, right? Look, I'm doing this live as we're on the air now. Grisham. Ty Grisham. Ty Grisham was the other one. Grisham was the other WWE to ESPN guy. And they got this, they just wrapped up the PLEs with Peacock for with Clash in Paris. And honestly, Clash in Paris was okay. Like it wasn't the shock value was, of course, Becky Lynch joining the division, which it entails this. If you want my opinion on that, I really think WWE messed up the bloodline. They really messed up the bloodline. And the reason why I say they messed up the bloodline is because you had, I'm going to give arguments to both. You had Naomi, you had Nia. You use Tamina to be a part of this. So you meaning to tell me you ain't using them is because they're not considered bankable stars, because Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch are considered bankable, when you just had this whole run before Naomi went out for her pregnancy. That's why we missed y'all so much, because there's so much that has happened since June the 10th, the last time that broadcasted here. And Naomi's pregnancy, right? Then you had Nia, who's been working with the championships and stuff, and then got over in NXT, started messing with them with Lash Legend, which I think that's a good program for Lash. I wanted, that was it. You had it. You had it right there. And you mean to tell me you could not bank on those? Naomi would give Becky Lynch. I just don't understand. And that's why I have not watched an episode of WWE Unreal. I refuse to watch it. I outright refuse to watch that show, because you're giving too many stories away. And granted, it is up to the point where I think it was WrestleMania. I know I seen a clip, but that was at Elimination Chamber where John Cena was turning heel. But I really believe, without shadow of a doubt, that you messed up the Bloodline. Granted, it was a 4-year run and it was a great run, but there were some things that you could have added to this mix, would have made that even better. Adding women to that faction, it would have been terrific. You got that with Judgment Day, and it's worked. As much as we don't like Judgment Day, you just added to the vision, right? Secret Hervis with Chelsea Green and now Ethan Page adding up, it's worked. Like, you could have did that with the Bloodline. And I get it, Roman has a lot to do with that, and Heyman and Paul Levesque, that is. But it was there. It was there for the taking. Naomi, Tamina, Nia added a strong point. What, you didn't want to make them too strong? When is the last time, and anybody that's watching right now can tell me the last time you had a faction that went as long as the Bloodline did? And I'm going all the way back to the Attitude Era. Shoot, you want to go back to the F days, if you want to go that far back. A faction, not a tag team, a faction. If you want to say the New Day is, that's a tweener to me. If you really look at it, that's a tweener, because a lot of the times they were involved in matches, it was just tag team. You did not have 3-on-3 with them. They were always involved in tag matches, right? Judgment Day would be considered a faction because they have more than 3 members. Are factions considered just 3 members? 3 members plus, right? Like, I need an understanding on this. Like, please help me. Is it 3 members or more than 3 members? Because tag teams are tag teams. The Usos been tag team for over 10 years, right? New Day has been tag teams for over 10 years themselves, right? But they can be considered a faction because they have more than 2 members. But I look at factions as a group of more than 3 members, 4 members, 5 members, 6 members, the Vision is a faction because they also have a manager. You know what? Then the New Day would be considered part of this argument. I thought it was nobody, but I think the New Day makes a compelling argument for one of the best factions or longest, if not the longest faction in WWE. What do they label them as? Let's see. They label them, I know they solo or they've been a tag team for quite some time. Okay, they label it as a professional wrestling tag team. Got it. So they're not a faction. And that's wild to me. That's kind of wild to see that. And let me see what they calling them a stable. And they got 3 members. Stable, or another word, faction. So they work. The New Day is considered a tag team, and the Vision is considered a stable or a faction in this case. So then we would have to say that the Bloodline has had the longest stable in WWE. And when I mention E goes back to what? 2002, 2001. I'm not mentioning F. I mean, F is one thing, but E is another thing. I'm talking about after the Attitude Era, Ruthless Aggression era. So since Ruthless Aggression, that's been the longest stable by far. And I really think they messed that one up. They messed that up really bad. Like, did they not want to see them with all the gold? Did Cody Rhodes mess up the stable? Because he could be at fault for this. Because remember, this was about the WWE Championship, right? And there was a time where the Usos had the gold, Roman had the gold, Solo had some gold. Like, they did not want to see that. That's what that looks like. And I'm dumbfounded by that, because the women would have came in, snatched the gold. After what translated with what Naomi went through, I would have gave Naomi and Tamina the tags. Could you imagine a Bloodline with all that gold? Now, people would have been pissed. I don't even think Cena would have gotten a shot at the championship at all. And speaking of Cena, this heel to face turn needed to happen because of the shock value of what transpired at Elimination Chamber, and that he became this ridiculous individual, I guess you want to look at it. It didn't bother me. I guess it got stale at times. Let me take that back. It did get stale at times. And Cena himself said he was not a heel, but he was being very villainous. He said, "I'm just a truth teller." I guess people wanted I guess those in the back wanted to see what that looked like. I know Cena wanted to see what that looked like. And then when he got to SummerSlam, I really wish he didn't do it before SummerSlam. I wish he would have did it after SummerSlam. He would have stayed the heel, got beat, and then it's like you take a long look in the mirror and say, I'm really was not this person. And that would have been, if that's what, 6 months? It's about the 6-month mark for Cena. So, and then we got 4 months left with him before, well, actually 3 months now before it's actually all said and done. And it's really going to be over. But I was looking at this Cena mark and I was like, I wish he would have did it after SummerSlam. It just would have made more sense, right? We would have had him and Logan Paul going at it like they did at Clash in Paris. I think he's done with Logan Paul now. That's over. We got Cody and Drew coming up when Cody comes back from his paternity leave. Congratulations to them and their second child. Congratulations to Naomi coming up on her first child with Jimmy Uso. And that was the other thing, is that they're trying now to boost Jimmy Uso, and so that way he can get a solo championship. And it still goes back for me when Jimmy had went to Jay and said, I did all of this for you. I wonder if that's going to be the same in return for Jay. Jay has already won the World Heavyweight Championship. He stayed main event Jay Uso. He's still considered a top billing guy. It's going to be interesting to see how well this one goes for Jimmy. And please don't give it to him because of sympathy. Because do it because he earned it. And that he brought his way back in. Because Jimmy has gone through a lot of stuff before now. And when he came back in 2021 after, was it DUIs and stuff? If you're watching this on Facebook, it looks like there's having some issues on it. So I do apologize for that. Just got a message via StreamYard about it. So the apologies on our end here. Yeah, it just ended for some reason. But if you're watching the show on YouTube and Twitter, thank you. Just remove it. I dog it. All right, Facebook, I do apologize. Let's see if they let me back on with this one. Hey, dang, cuz you done remove all my people. Okay, looks like we back up and running. Let's see how that one go. But yeah, I'm like, I am very compelled what they're gonna do with Jimmy Uso. This whole ordeal now with CM Punk and now Becky Lynch, because now she's joined the Vision. The rumors are trying to circulate is it now the time for AJ Lee to pop in? Yeah, let's bring it in. Let's go ahead and bring it in. And listen, y'all, you're not gonna like this, but I don't like that the women get a chance to hit the men. I'm not saying that the men should hit the women, but they at least, and they're in the ring and they're handling this a wrestling move should be in retaliation. Y'all don't think I'm saying beat up the women. The slapping and stuff, the punching, whatever. Men are getting beat up, but it's like, why they can't be back in return? Wrestling moves are wrestling moves. You've seen men fight women in the ring. Women fight men. That's the double standard right there. And I'm probably gonna get looked at crazy, like, I can't believe this dude said that. Yeah, because that's an equal kind of thing here. A GTS on Becky Lynch. I think Becky Lynch can take that. Frog splash on Rhea Ripley. I think she can take that. I'm not saying let Bronson Reed be the person get her, but if she's willing to take that, then by all means, make that happen. I remember when Mae Young was getting tore up from the floor up. She was taking hits all the time. Cena doing Roxanne Perez's pop rocks. That's pretty cool. I mean, so I think there's a respect for that. My thing is, I'm not trying to say they should do this all the time, but I'm looking at it as from a revenge side. I know that's a touchy subject. It's a very touchy subject because then it insinuates, oh, you want them to hit women. I'm not saying hit them back. I'm saying a rock bottom. You take, Becky Lynch takes it, curb stomp, spear. I think they know how to elevate those very well. And these ladies have trained with these men day by day, week by week. That's all I'm getting at. I'm not saying they should intentionally hurt them. I'm saying that there should be some revenge act that they can train and correlate with. That's all I'm saying. It's like, well, I think it was Ryan Funches, the comedian, was like, do I want to see them get hurt? Do I want to see them get killed? No, of course not. So we're at a stage now where choreography in wrestling is highly known, and that's what this is. And you don't mean to tell me that this can't go the same way? I'm like, how long ago was that? How long ago was that Nia Jax took that RKO from Randy Orton in the ring? She got in the Royal Rumble with the men and took that RKO and then got flipped out by them. So you mean to tell me that can't work again in this stage? WWE's been known to bend the rules, sometimes break them. You're in a place right now where Netflix is, you can pretty much say what you want. I understand about sponsorships and stuff, but you can pretty much say what you want and you can do what you want. Because I understand that this is supposed to be family friendly and stuff, but come on, y'all. Let's be real with ourselves. These shows ain't family friendly anymore. That is gone. It's gone. We're not there at that place anymore. Or they're towing the lines. That's ridiculous. And yeah, I don't want to see a man punch a woman out. Never that. But a finisher move, yeah. It's a finisher. It's a choreographed finisher. That's what WWE Unreal has done for y'all. To see that that's what is going on behind the scenes. That they're training for that. But they got the men with the men and the women with the women. I've seen that already in NXT with what's my girl from LFG, Tyra Menson. And her thing with Chelsea Green. I think that's a good first program for her. And what are y'all going to do with Jada Parker? Y'all keep putting her in these big matches, but you're not letting her get over the top. Are y'all telling her to wait her turn? Jada has not publicly said anything. She has gone on WWE platforms and said stuff. But and y'all know that it toes the line from how they do things. So my question to you is, when are y'all gonna see that Jada is the real deal? That's my thing. When y'all gonna see that? Cause she the real deal. She ain't no joke. Ain't no game. You like tell them you came. No, I'm saying. But I really think that she is the next big thing, the next big champion that NXT should have. I ain't got nothing against JC Jane, but I think that Jada Parker should really take the belt off her. And that group is about to break up anyway. It's the signs are there. The signs are there. You'll see what happens tonight on NXT. It's all coming to a head. And honestly, I don't think anybody can knock off Obafemi as champ. Because they really waiting on to see what his outlook is going to be like if he goes into WWE. And I really think you can't make him a mid-carder. You can't make him a mid-carder because he's a main eventer. And his character is very cocky or confident in this case. It's confident. And I don't think that the main roster can place him right now in this area where if he were to jump, he would have some success. Case in point, look what they've done to Carmelo Hayes. And grateful enough, Trick Williams is staying where he's at right now. He don't need to move up at all. He is perfect where he is. He can remain with NXT and TNA. That's perfect. How y'all feel about that NXT and TNA partnership? Because I'm seeing Joe Hendry. I thought he was going to appear on me. But he comes in and it's a great relationship so far. And anybody that gets released, just know TNA got your back. And honestly, WWE does too. All right. I'm about to wrap this bad boy up. Thank y'all for hopping in and jumping in and checking in with me today. I'll be back at it again Thursday. I'm gonna have some NFL picks for you on the A-Train show. See who's going to, and then get some college football picks in on some of the big games of the weekend. So I got picks for you. Get you ready for SmackDown Wrestlepalooza, all that good stuff. And then I jump off on Thursday, same time, same bad channel. All right. So y'all take it easy. Come full stop. All right. So next time we'll be back out of here again for another edition of the A Train Show. See y'all Thursday.